ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, it's me, Bradley Goodham here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to Synergy Cafe. And I've got a guest on. He had a little challenge getting on because technology, you know how that stuff works. But his name is Kostas. I'm going to find out how you pronounce it. But I think it's Kostas Broumas. Kostas Broumas. And he's up in Canada. We're in Minneapolis here, so they're neighbors. So I'm going to go to the green room and get him. So hang on a second. I'll be right back. There he is. Hey, Kostas, how are you?
Awesome. Doing really good, thanks. How are you?
How do I pronounce it? Is it Kostas?
Actually, it's Costa, like Costa Rica.
Costa, so you leave the S off. Costa.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you're up in Canada, right? I'm in Minnesota. Everybody thinks it's really cold in Minnesota. Isn't it colder in Canada?
Yeah, well, it's freezing in Canada. I'm not in Canada right now. I'm actually in Greece right now. I've been in Greece now for about 1.5 years now. So I'm originally from Canada, but I'm in Greece right now. So it's about 8 p.m. here.
So that is fascinating how we can connect with anybody across the world in real time with just with a phone, basically. It's amazing.
No doubt. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's magical. So what kind of intrigued me about your business when I end up finding you and stuff was the common word of magic. And then also I'm going through some mindset issues right now. So I'm going to be doing some programs and stuff on that. So it's interesting how things pop up when they're in demand and such, because that's kind of what you do. It's a mindset thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's what I focus on is a lot of the deep core subconscious belief systems and blocks that people have from their childhood and upbringing. So it's kind of a combination of forgiveness, permission, affirmation mixed in with some somatic breath work and then some quantum physics. So you test the body's energy for what the core blocks are. And usually everything kind of resides under organs. So either your lungs, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. There's different emotions that are associated with different organs. So someone could have a lot of health problems because they've been holding on to deep core stuff from when they were 5 years old. That's maybe, let's say, for example, under their heart. It's one of the emotions under heart. And then they've had a couple heart attacks and this and that. So it's amazing how much the body, mind, and spirit are all connected.
Totally. It's interesting because at first I was just thinking about the mindset part, and I like that you get into the physiology of it too.
Yeah.
There's a thing that people think that, okay, I can just read some books on affirmations and I'll listen to those things. And the difference to me between like an affirmation and what they call ask-formations is the affirmation, when you say it like, I am a millionaire, there's something in your head going, no, you're not. You're a rotten little kid. You're supposed to close the door when you go outside. Money doesn't grow on trees. You get all that stuff that's in your subconscious that you don't even know about. So you're talking about these emotions are actually in the organs or in the body somewhere, like muscle testing and stuff?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's like a form of kinesiology and like contact reflex analysis and emotional polarity technique. So really, you're just testing the body's energy, and some of these emotions, they can get stuck. And that's why meditation is so powerful, but it takes, a lot longer to go and clear out stuff through meditation. Or another one is breath work. It's really good for bringing the emotions to the surface. But yeah, you're totally right. So many times the affirmations, they don't work in the sense that people are saying them, but their subconscious is disagreeing with it. So you could consciously say it, but if your subconscious is disagreeing with it, you're not really getting the progress that you want to get.
You had mentioned the breath work too, and I'll share a little story because if you do that, that's very, very powerful stuff. In that I used to have these issues when someone would leave, I would have this weird feeling, and it boiled it down to like abandonment issues. So I went to a guy and I did some breath work sessions with him, multiple sessions, like what you do. Yeah. And it got to I came out of the situation and I was craving a candy bar so bad. I thought so on the way home, I stopped at the store and I go to the beeline to the candy department, and it had these big 6-pack of Nut Goody candy bars. Do they have those where you're from?
No, I don't think so, no.
They're big patties like this with peanuts in them and caramel and chocolate and all that stuff, and there's a lot of sugar. So these Nut Goody candy bars. I ate 4 of them on the way home out of the 6-pack. I was craving it so much.
Yeah.
So we went on to the next week. I do my session, and I come out of it, and we were talking about abandonment issues, and figured it out that when my mother and father would go out to the bar, they'd leave me at home. You know, a little kid, like, I don't know if I was 3 or 5 or 7 or something, but they leave at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when it's dark.
Yeah.
And they would go and they would abandon me, but they were just going out to have fun.
Yeah.
But they would come back and they'd reward me with a Nut Goody candy bar.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
when I realized that through all that breath work and mindset type work, then I went out to the cemetery, and both my parents are deceased, so I couldn't talk with them. I had to go to the cemetery and talk with their spirit,
Mhm.
forgive and forget. You know, they didn't mean anything malicious by it. They were just going out to have a good time, and they came in and brought me a candy bar. A little thing like that, it takes someone like you to dig through and find all that stuff. Where is it sitting? In the heart, in the gut, in the lungs, or what?
Completely. Yeah, and it's pretty amazing too, like with that story you just told, in the sense that we go and we identify with different foods. Like different foods can trigger different emotions, and can go, like, a lot of it is in the prefrontal cortex, and it never forgets. So like you can go and build associations through your hippocampus and through your prefrontal cortex, where it goes and it makes you feel better about your abandonment, going and eating one of those things, because there's a connection there. So
Right.
it's not really so much the sugar you're craving, it's the connection to the emotion.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why it ended up being a Nut Goody candy bar and not some other.
exactly. It's
So
pretty
very-
insane the way the mind works.
It's fascinating. I mean, there's little things. So that's where I'm going. I'm 67. So in June, I'll be 67. And I'm going through some things with my life where I just can't understand why things don't work. And
Mhm.
obviously, there's something maybe that's suppressed, that changes my language or my mood or my energy or the perception of how I communicate or what my brain is thinking. So I got to figure out how to get that thing out of there, that little mental block. Because that's the challenge. You don't know what it is.
No, yeah, that's the biggest, that's the worst part about it, is a lot of times people go and they'll go about their daily lives, or they'll go about their business, and they have no idea the type of music that's playing in the background, that's hurting their success, and their potential could be so much more than what they're actually doing, but they don't really know what it is, because consciously you don't know at a conscious level what's holding you back subconsciously, because it's a lot of the times it's from deep childhood stuff, it's from upbringing, it's what society taught you, your parents taught you, friends have taught you, different things, or situations. A lot of people can have certain situations and circumstances happen that really negatively affect their lives, and until they know how to get into the subconscious and release those things, it'll continue to negatively affect them. So it's pretty amazing the way it kind of all ties in together.
It can even be, in my opinion, I'm not a therapist or nothing like that, but I think it can be even just something very, very subtle. Like maybe a little kid was going to step off the curb and there was a car coming and he didn't see it. And the mom grabs him by the back of the hair, because that's all she could do, and pulls him back. That's really traumatic for the little kid, where she just thought, oh, I just no big deal, or back of the jacket or something, not the hair. It could be very, very subtle to us adults, but to a kid, it's like, whoa, what was that? And then the car beeping the horn or something.
Completely, yeah, because we don't understand it at that age. We can't go and conceptualize what's going on. It's just a situation that happens, and if there's, they always go and they always say that what do they say? They say the repair is better than the rapture. So like if you go and, like, for parents, a lot of times they'll just freak out about something, and they don't really understand the damage they could be doing to their kid. But if you go and you explain it or you apologize it, because kids are smart, kids are super smart. But a lot of the times we don't explain it to them why we had that reaction. So they have a hard time wrapping their head around why this thing happened. And sometimes they can hold on to it in a bad way for a very, very long time, because they have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it takes time. And like through your coaching and things, you ask the right questions and get to the right, like in my situation, I'm just making this up because I don't know, because my parents are deceased. I can't say, Mom, whatever happened when I was a little kid. So I need to go in deeper. but there might have been something simple like I did something and she goes, how come you never listen? You're not worth anything.
Yeah.
But she was angry. Now I go through grade school and I end up learning wrong.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. And parents never mean to do it, but
No,
you know,
they get shocked themselves and then they keep the ball rolling. Say, I told you, I've told you once, I told you a million times. And then, go to your room, and then it gets rid of them. And now you're really getting depressed.
mhm.
So
No
you
doubt.
did,
Yeah.
where
Words are
did you
powerful.
started in this?
Well, I've always been fascinated with the mind. And then also when it comes to business coaching, I had a lot of years where I owned a business, and a lot of the like subconscious programming I had from my childhood made me unable to actually go and have the success that I wanted. Even though my business was doing really good revenue, I'd always find myself in financial problems in the company, personally, all of these type of things. I wasn't very happy. I wasn't very content. So a lot of it went back to, not feeling good enough. So the last, I'd say 17 years or so, I've been doing like this deep core subconscious work with a family friend of ours who's my auntie, and she's taught me how to do it. So the last like 10 years or so, I've been doing it, and I've been helping different friends and family. Now I've applied it to business coaching because I've come to realize that a lot of times the reasons why people don't have the type of freedom they want in their business, whether it's the income or the time freedom or the relationships that they want or the fulfillment and the contentment, has absolutely nothing to do with their business, has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with their thought processes, their belief systems, their programs, their subconscious blocks that prevent them from finding good stuff. It prevents them from making money.
He's a golf pro and he coaches people on their golf swings. So and his target market is like C-level executives. So they'd come in and his office has this big boardroom table, and then there's a simulator back in the back room. But before they even swing a club, they sit at the table and they have a conversation. And what's the problem? Oh, every time I swing, it's always hooks off to the left, it hooks off, or hooks off to the right. And then they have more of a conversation. I find out that he's got a little interest in his secretary, and he's a married man. And then you find out, oh, maybe that's the problem. So there's something that's not totally unrelated to golf.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the golf swing. So if you clean up your life, it'll affect everything in your life, right?
Yeah, it's amazing the way it works. And so many people, like you've got your Dr. Joe Dispenzas, you've got your Dr. Bruce Liptons. There's so many people who understand quantum mechanics and quantum physics way beyond what I know. But at the same time, everything that you feel and think and everything you believe, it affects your life. But a lot of people are too scared to go and face things from their childhood. So they wonder why their life isn't the way they want it to be, or it doesn't matter how hard they try, they don't get where they want to be, or they feel guilty when they're working because they want to be with family. Then with their family, they're guilty because they should be doing more at their business, right? So it's like all of these mind traps that really shape our lives. And it's fascinating to me how much more improvement you can have in your life just by doing little things. Daily practices. I really focus on that. Like in my program, I coach businesses and I coach business owners in like a 90-day program. And my clients get really good results because they realize that, okay, this is what's holding back my income. This is what's holding back my time. Then there's a lot of exercises. There's a lot of daily things, because if you're not looking after your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, then your life is not going to be truly successful. You might make a lot of money, but you won't have a successful life. You'll have insecurities. You'll have certain things, right? So it's very important to look after everything, not neglect a thing.
Yeah, I had another question that was in my head and then it disappeared. But this is your website, so they can come here, and when they get there, do you have like any like trial period, or so they can test things out or get to know you, or like a discovery call or something like that you offer?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like I do free discovery calls, and they're 30-minute calls where I'll just go and ask them, okay, well, what are your business bottlenecks? What are your life bottlenecks? What goals do you have? What do you want to see? What do you want to see your business in the next 6 months? And get to know each other, because they obviously need to be a fit for the program, and I need to know that I'll help them to the highest level. And then also there's free resources there too, because I'm really much a proponent on helping as many people as I can. So there's a daily winning formula where it's 100% free. It's a Google document and it's a Google sheet. And if anyone goes to my website and follows the daily winning formula for 30 days, their whole entire life, they'll feel vastly different in the way they operate and what they do and how they operate through life. So yeah, there's a lot of free resources there, paid resources there. And then when it comes to the business coaching, it's, we jump on a one-on-one call and see if I can help somebody at the highest level. And if so, I explain to them what that looks like and what's involved and what the time commitment is. And then we kind of go from there.
Got it. And that's all available right here, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that's really important because, I vibe with you because you got the magic word. You look like you're a happy, fun guy instead of a stern type person. So I vibe with you, but there might be somebody else that does not. So let them come in for free and not invest any money to see, do we connect? Are you Republican, Democrat? How does it work over there in Greece? And how does it work in Canada? It's a different kind of deal, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's the big thing. You got to really vibe with somebody. So that's why I like to offer some free resources. And I also have a free Facebook group too that people can join. And it's on there as well on the website, where it's just a community. I do weekly trainings on everything business, mindset, energy, thoughts, belief systems, leadership. So I've got a community there and I just try to give as much free value as I can on a weekly basis. And then those who resonate and connect with me, they join the program and then we take their businesses to new levels. And there's a lot of people who'll just book a 1-hour session with me because they know they've got some deep core subconscious stuff that's blocking their life. So they'll book a 1-hour session, have me do the work for them. And then usually they'll book more from there.
Well, it takes, like they say, 21 days creates a habit, something like that. And it takes time to get into to rewire the brain and all that.
Completely.
Which brings me to another question. And I'm not sure if this is an area you get into, but it's been calling to me for about 10 years. And I think I'm moving forward with it. I know I'm moving forward with it. But have you ever done, do you the whole psychedelics thing? You ever get into that? The ayahuasca or?
No, I don't know.
Not, you draw the line there? Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not that I'm against it. I just don't know enough about it. Right. I've never really dived down that path. So
good idea to draw the line if you don't. Yeah, sure. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I really just focus on like emotional and energetic peak performance and daily energy rituals and certain things you can do to really resonate at like the highest level in your business and operate at the highest level in your business.
Well, there's amazing things that can happen just through a conversation if a person is like a coach. My wife is a coach, and she was a teacher, a Spanish teacher at the University of Minnesota for like 20 years. So she knows how to teach. Completely. And now she's really a good coach because she knows the right questions to ask. It isn't about spewing out information. It's really more finding out what's making this person tick. And then you just flip that little switch and go, you do know that dogs aren't all mean, right?
Yeah.
And you might kind of do away with that little thing with some, like you said, the breath work and stuff. That was miraculous for me, the breath work thing, I think.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Like I always recommend for people because there's so many benefits. Like anyone who goes and does research on breath work, there's 4 different types of breath work. Like there's like a blow breath, a bliss breath, a halo active breath, a triactive breath. And then, there's Wim Hof. He has his own method, which is like really deep. It's more like a somatic breath work. But yeah, there's breath work. It's amazing. I like to do breath work 3 times a day, even if it's for 3 to 5 minutes. It really goes in and gets you out of your amygdala and back into your prefrontal cortex. So if you've got negative thoughts and belief systems, and you're operating in your monkey brain, which most people are, 95% of people, they live their whole life in their amygdala and they're reactive. And then the people who get into breath work and meditation and different things, they move into their prefrontal cortex, which is higher cognitive abilities and higher reasoning. So I always like to work a couple hours and then do some breath work. Work a couple hours, do some breath work. Work a couple hours, do some breath work. I realized that I add like probably about 2 hours of productivity to my day just by adding like 3 to 5 minute breath work sessions 3 times a day.
When you do that, do you do it like work for like 15 minutes and then do that? Or is it kind of like just I'm going to put in some time and then I'm okay, I think I should go do breath work and I'll do that for this. Is it more flexible or is it more regimented?
Yeah, it's more regimented because usually you work at your peak performance for 60 to 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you slow down, your cognitive ability slows down. So usually, like I call it in my program, the 90-15 productivity formula. So every 90 minutes, I take a 15-minute break and either go and do a couple push-ups, do 10, 20 push-ups and do some breath work, or go for like a quick 10-minute walk and clear my head and do some breath work, or do 10 minutes of meditation and some breath work. And yeah, so every 90 minutes, I try to carve out 15 minutes because then I'm always working on my peak performance and I can get a lot more done in a lot less time.
Well, you notice that our workforce has changed a little bit too, at least here in the United States, that it's not so, okay, the bell goes and you go to this until it's lunch, then you go. It's more like the Google and Apple headquarters where they got foosball tables and air hockey and pinball and they play around a little bit. Loosen up a little bit.
Completely, yeah, no doubt, that's for sure. Chill out a bit, relax, and it's important. So many people, they go and it's like not even close to surprising why so many people get older and they have mental health issues because they never give their mind a rest. They think that going to sleep at night is good enough. You really need to rest your brain throughout the day also, right? And that's why a lot of people constantly stimulated with technology and their cell phones never take breaks where they're just calm and collected. And then they're 60, 70, 80 years old and they have mental health issues because they never took that time throughout their whole life. Right. And now the brain just breaks.
They don't know how to use a pencil anymore.
Exactly.
Well, Kosta, we've gone for about 21 minutes here, 22 minutes. So is there anything else that you want to share? And then I'll let you go into the green room and enjoy some of those digital hors d'oeuvres we've got back there. I've got a virtual little server and she switches everything out. So it's all different from when you're in there before. And then we can have a conversation after this as well.
Sounds awesome. I look forward to it. Yeah, really. The only like closing comments I'd say is if you feel like there's something holding you back in life, there's a very good chance that there is. You feel it. You might not know what it is, but you feel it. And don't procrastinate on it because not only does it go and it affect your happiness, your contentment, your income, your business, but it also affects your health and it affects your relationships. And really, you're paying a lot higher of a price than you think you're paying by neglecting it.
Yeah.
So just looking after it is so important because quality of life is everything. Money comes and goes, time comes and goes, friends come and go, but quality of life is everything. So that would kind of be my closing statements is if you feel like something's blocking you, it probably is. And don't procrastinate on it because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, very good. I will pop you in there. Thanks again for taking the time. And I'll talk to you a little bit after if you want to stick around.
Awesome. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, Brad.
There you have it, folks. And this is how you get a hold of them right here. The Magic Mindset .VIP. That's very important people like you. And here's a little more information too. That's how you say his name. It's Broumas. I'm not sure if that's proper, but I did learn that Kosta is the S is silent. So now we know that. The Magic Mindset VIP. There you have it. Okay, peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, and as I say, be nice.